What is up? I am Janko, and I am here again. This time with a Division 2 video. I want to give my impressions of Episode 1 and Title Update 5. This dropped Tuesday, so I've got, I don't know, about 15 hours in on it. And essentially, it's got some new content, right? We got two main missions, expeditions, it's called Expeditions, but it's Kenley College, right? It's at one location. Two new classified missions, the Discover Raid mode, Apparel event, and then Title Update 5, which gives a ton of changes, fixes, and things like that, mostly around skills. So I'm going to break it up by those. The two main missions are the Zoo and Camp White Oak. Both are pretty cool, right? They're pretty cool environments, really new maps, really big maps, and that kind of leads into my negatives about it coming up in a minute, but they're absolutely huge. They look awesome. This here is actually the zoo that's playing right now. And they look cool. The lighting is fantastic. I'm not a big PvPer, but I actually think PvP in this map in particular would be pretty cool. Some of the areas are just really great. However, with that comes the fact that it feels like the space is really mismanaged at times. There's a section of the zoo that literally there's nothing there. And for 2 or 3 minutes, you just run through, there's nothing. There may have been a phone recording there or something, but for the most part, there's nothing. There's no enemies. I take that back. There's some monkeys. It almost feels like somebody in my chat had said, and I didn't think about this until they said it, and the more I kind of reflect on it, the more it does kind of seem as if these maps, or at least that one in particular, was designed for something else, and then they just threw this content into it, which is cool, but ultimately, like they missed the boat, I feel. I think there could have been new enemy types, right? They could have even had you be attacked by alligators or lions or tigers or bears. Oh my, would that have been cool as hell, but none of that, right? And I'm sure PETA would have gone friggin' crazy if we were in there, like, killing animals, but, I don't know, it just seems like there could have been something more on some of those. Maybe a beast handler that, like, unleashes some people, some creatures on you, or even tries to trap you in an enclosure, and you have to try to get away or get out of it. Like, that would have been kind of cool. Camp White Oak was pretty cool. We're going after somebody because of something in the story, right? We finally get to go after the president. And spoiler alert right now, for people that haven't played it, pause. I'll give you the signal when it's time to unpause. But pause or like mute it, I should say. Mute now. Last warning. Anyway, why is it that nothing ever gets resolved in this game, right? Since the beginning, we're still going after Keener. We've never found him. In this, we go after the president, and of course he escapes, and we don't get him. So essentially, it's just wasted time. We don't learn really anything more with his involvement with Black Tusk or anything else. It just seemed kind of like a waste of time. It was a cool mission, but ultimately, nothing gets resolved. The story doesn't get moved farther at all, and we don't learn anything more. So, I don't know, maybe there's more in some of the phone logs I haven't found, but up to me, I mean, it was kind of cool to play through once. Other than commendations, I don't know why I'll do any of the content. Again, there's really no point. Okay, everybody that muted, you can now come back. I'm done with spoilers. Expeditions, moving on to that, Kenley College. Really cool location. I like the way that the one section we can get into is kind of split up. You go into the library, you get the Echo. There's 3 different things to investigate for it, and each time you do it, it opens it up. You go in, you do the stuff, you find the things, and then you come back, you kind of like move on to the next one where it opens the area up again, but then different areas are opened up. It's really cool. I thought for exploration, it was cool to try to find some stuff going on with that. But again, my main mission, or my main issue with this is, like, you do it to open up a loot room and the loot is still garbage. The gear is still what it is. And I'm going to make another video in the next day or two about that in particular and about fixes I think they need to do. But ultimately, until gear or loot are fixed. Um, it's cool content to do once, but there's no reason to replay it unless you miss something and you got to go back through and try to find another phone log or something like that. Uh, so yeah. Moving on, the classified missions. I thought the classified missions were pretty cool. Again, the areas, the locations were really cool. The phone recordings that you do get in there gives you a reason why you're there, which is pretty cool. But ultimately, again, you know, the little backpack dangler you can see on my dude right here. Well, you might not because it went to nighttime in that mission, but he's got a little pizza thing. There's a sushi one. They're pretty cool. You know, overall, classified missions are what they are. They're the same as what they were before in that you go in, you do them, you're kind of done. There's no reason to re-engage with that content again. So, you know, if you're a player that's already kind of quit playing the game, I think it's cool to log back in, do the missions, see what they are, you know, do the expeditions, do the classified missions. And if you've already given up on the game, there's not much more there for you. The skill changes, I do think the skill changes were pretty cool. They added, essentially, they reduced the cooldowns, they boosted the damage on everything. So even in this gameplay here, I'm not at all set up for a skill build, but the skills actually seem like you can use them now. They're at least useful once per fight, maybe twice, depending on the engagement. But ultimately, without going into a skill build, skills are just kind of tertiary. I wish that would be adjusted a little bit, right? I want to feel like a badass agent using these cool gadgets without having to spec into it. And on that note, what does skill power do other than unlock more skill mods and better skill mods? I get what they're going for on that, but it was really frustrating. I've been trying to make a shield build in this game since launch, and I thought this would finally be my chance. I made a skill build that has, I think, 2,800 skill power in it. My shield only has 252,000 health. And every mod that I have for it is just shield skill power, and I can't figure out what that shield skill power does. Skill haste reduces the cooldown on it, but I don't have any shield health mods, so maybe that's my issue. But skill power in this game, especially specific skill power for that specific skill, doesn't seem to do anything other than allow you to put higher mods on there, and maybe I just don't have the right mods. So that's kind of that. Seeker mod's pretty cool, or the Seeker mine rather is pretty cool. Both of those are really cool. The incinerator turret, as always, was cool. I haven't tried all of them out yet, but those, you know, definitely work. I haven't had any issue with my revive hive not working, so I hope that they finally got that fixed. On top of that, we get an apparel event. I've really been looking forward to the apparel events every time they pop in, because they generally have some pretty cool cosmetic items, and I really like cosmetic items, so I'm generally looking forward to the apparel event. I went in and looked at this, and 95% of them are just a joke. I get what they were going for with like the heat wave because it's summer, but ultimately this is a military shooter, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to have players or agents running around in board shorts and friggin' flip-flops with sandals. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I really wish there was more military or paramilitary gear, or somehow more tactical gear, as opposed to scuba suits and board shorts. I don't know. It missed the mark for me, but, you know, to each his own. And also, they did add weapon mods for the specialized weapons, which is pretty cool. As of right now, I think you can only get them by buying them. I would like to see those added as incentives or rewards for other content, maybe heroic mode content or something like that, because I think this game's still missing the mark a lot as far as rewards on things like that. But on that note, I don't play a whole lot of PvP. It's still broken from what I've heard completely. But if I ever do get into PvP and I'm ever in the dark zone and I see people running around with socks and sandals, I'm going to kill you. Like, or at least I'm going to try. The Janko Action News Knowledge Office has done an in-depth report about Saxon sandalitis and how it's really, really hurting us as a society. And to see a video game encourage that sort of behavior was really disappointing to me. Yeah, I hope you guys know what sarcasm is. I just hate socks and sandals. So, yeah, Eesh. I don't know why that got added. It seems completely ridiculous, but it is what it is. Again, some people may have really liked it. Overall, I just kind of have to say this kind of made me nervous for episode 2. I've really been looking forward to Pentagon. I hope that brings an underground-esque activity. It seems like it would be perfect for it, right? The Pentagon is supposedly one of the largest buildings in the world, and it's largely unknown what's in there. So I think that would be a perfect an environment for an underground type activity. And this game sorely and desperately needs some sort of repeatable but yet different each time you do it activity. As of right now, if you're a PvE player, there's the same missions. They add new missions, but it's doing the same content for the same crappy loot. And until they fix loot and gear, that content is just kind of dry. And if we had something that we could repeat that would change the way Underground did, then I think that could at least offset the lack of good loot for now. But hopefully loot is fixed by then, and maybe that'll be a good thing. I don't know. Man, I did not do very well in this section here, but ultimately, that's kind of where we're at with this patch. It was cool. I mean, I think it'll give me a week or two of content to kind of go through, to play, to kind of use and do some different things with. They added this shepherd system where you can accept the help that other people are calling out for. You can go in, you can accept that, go in, help them out, and if they give you a thumbs up or whatever, I guess you grind up a new level. I haven't tried that yet. The discovery raid is, again, I think it's cool to put matchmaking in there to make it easier to let people get in and get an idea of the mechanics behind the raid. However, I think they missed the mark. You can't get any keys. If you open up the little key boxes that are in the raid, all you get are components for the gear sets that you get in the regular raid, which is kind of cool, but I would have liked to have seen at the end of the raid, when you complete it, you get yourself a key, because as of right now, when you play through the normal raid, to get the box at the end, to open that chest, you need 5 keys. You only get 4 in the raid, so it would have been really cool to see a reward for discovery mode, reward 1 key, so that you can then go through, play the regular raid, get 4 from that, you have 5, and it would give you a reason to do the discovery raid and the regular raid once per week, so that way you could guarantee yourself that chest to try to get the Eagle Bearer at the end. To be completely honest, I would have been totally cool if they would have given the Eagle Bearer a very tiny chance to drop on completion, but I understand why they went the way that they did, so I'm not all that broken up about it. I just think it would have been kind of cool. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's this episode in a nutshell. If you have already bought the Game Pass or the Year 1 Pass, you've got it. Go in, explore it, try it out, see what it is. Like I said, the areas are definitely cool, man. That's one place that this game is really delivering on. Sorry, my words are hard today. I'm not feeling well at all, and my brain is kind of scattered. But I do think that that's one area where this game developers really excel in. I just think, man, until they fix loot, until they fix gear, and there's some problems, and it needs some help. And once they do that, and even PvP, I know PvP needs to be fixed desperately badly. It needs to be fixed. But until they fix gear and loot, ultimately, even if they fix PvP, people are going to get bored. There's nothing to go for right now, and the stuff that you do get is garbage. So I do have a video. I've got some ideas on how to fix that, so if you're interested in that, please hit like, because that helps me out, but most importantly, hit subscribe so that way you can get my next video and take a look at all the other stuff I do. Thank you very much for watching. If you ever want to catch me live, links down below for Twitch. You can catch me on there and join these conversations that we have while I'm streaming. Thank you very much for your time. I love you. You guys rock, and keep remembering to please live the dream until I see you next time. I'll see you guys around.